What's going on? Welcome back to the Show Me Kayak Fishing Podcast. I know it's been a while since we've been on here and done an episode. Had a lot of real life stuff going on, but we've got the winners from the Kayak Anglers of Missouri Trail Stop number 2 at Wappapello on today. We've got first, second, third, and our normal co-host is in fourth, so we've got him as well. And then we've got the Big Bass joining us today. I know normally we start with the Big Bass and then work our way up the rankings, but our first place winner has something else going on here in a little bit. So we're going to start with him so he can jump out of here whenever he's done. That would be Mr. Zachary Woolverton, won first place with 88.5 inches. I noticed that throughout the day you had 4 Coles and Turniacs. What I want to know, first question is, did you have a bunch more Coles that you didn't get to submit? Did you catch a bunch of short fish that didn't help? Were you on fish all day, I guess is my question.
I saw fish all day on scope. I couldn't get them to bite the entire day. It definitely picked up there in the afternoon. I think that was a combination of things, one of which the wind kind of died down a little bit after that storm rolled through. So it just let me kind of lock in position a little better and get a better visual on the fish sitting on some trees. But other than that, yeah, I got on them pretty good. I want to say it was around noon. Been a little while now, 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. And then just throughout the afternoon, I just kind of made some calls. I submitted everything I caught that day. Being part of the Catch All You Can 2026 fish tournament, I just try to take pictures and submit everything. So it's kind of a pain, and it actually eats a lot of time, especially when you're out there catching a lot of fish. Not this tournament, but other tournaments when you catch 30, 40 fish in a day. It eats a lot of time taking pictures of everything.
Absolutely. That's the only reason I don't personally do that tournament is because it just takes up so much time if you're on them, like you said. Did you have like a morning flurry whenever they were eating better, or was it just kind of picking them off slowly all day?
I did not get on it. I actually got on the water late. We had that storm rolling through, and I don't really have a good set of rain gear, so I just decided to kind of wait it out. So I actually launched. It's probably about 7:15, 7:20 when I launched, and I caught a couple small fish. I want to say they were like 10, 12 inches maybe on a crankbait. I was just trying to roll crankbait through some of that timber and stuff, just a wiggle wart. And then that storm rolled through, kicked up the wind crazy, so I decided to make a run up over towards a dock because it was rolling pretty good, and I didn't want to be out there during it. So I sat there for 30 minutes or whatever until it passed, and then I got back out there and started fishing. And then about another hour and a half later, I kind of found a good stretch of fish that were all sitting on timber on kind of along a channel. So they were just on the inside of the channel where it'd start to drop off, and there was some timber and stuff. And I fished them with a minnow, and I caught one with an underspin, and actually got a crazy net job. I posted that. 16 3/4, and then I couldn't really get anything else to bite, and I wasn't sure if they were all bass or not, so I kind of left that area, ran up a little further in the river, fished some more timber, chunk rock kind of stuff on channel swing banks, wound up catching a big old drum, and then didn't really catch anything else further, so then I kind of went back to where I was, and then that's when I started catching them a little better around 11 or noon, whenever it was. I think the first one I caught after that was actually a 19 3/4. So I was like, oh, this is a good area.
That's awesome. Now we had texted a little bit before that event, and I remember you had said something about you weren't even sure if you wanted to go. Mostly the storms were throwing you off, and WAP kind of has a bad reputation. I'm sure you're glad you ended up going now, right?
Yes. Yeah, I was trying to debate whether I wanted to go or not because where I live is in Joplin, and obviously the storm was coming through Joplin. And then basically when I got up at, I don't remember what time it was, 2 a.m. or whatever, and made my 4.5 hour drive there, I was like, all I'm going to do is drive through the storm the entire way there. I'm going to barely outrun it. And then by the time I get there, it's still going to be coming through. So I was like, this is just going to be a sucky event. And I just didn't know if it was going to be worth it or just be a washout all day. So.
Sounds like you washed out and it was worth it.
Yes.
So whenever you were debating wanting to go, thinking about it, were you doing a lot of map studying leading up to it, or did you have like a lot of history on this lake to fall back on?
No, I've only fished it one time. The one time I fished it, I put together a limit, but it wasn't good for anything. I think I got like 16th or something. It was a Moyak event, and it wasn't anything that good. So maybe 20th. I can't remember. I did quite a bit of map study and just kind of was watching a lot of YouTube, honestly, just where people were fishing previous years, catching them, what's good certain times of year. And I just kind of stumbled across a couple videos of people fishing the river, and it was fishing really well, mostly with the crankbait. And so that's kind of what my game plan was: go hit the river with crankbait, hopefully pluck some off of trees that were of some size.
How quickly did you adjust from the crankbait thing? I know you mentioned you caught a couple little ones on it early, but how quickly did you switch away from that?
Um, well, I mean, obviously, I don't scope a ton with the crankbait, so as soon as I kind of saw some on a crankbait, I kind of picked up. I got a little underspin here. That's what I was throwing and caught that first one on. And I don't know if they've just seen a ton of the minnow or what, but like I'd get a few following it, they just would never commit. And that one committed like it was the best thing he'd ever seen in his life. But other than that, I could not get them to commit to a minnow, and so I left that area because I was like, oh, maybe they're not bass, maybe it's white bass or something small that's not going to commit to it. But then when I came back, I just decided to throw a good old Crocodile Zapper jig through some of that timber and stuff, and um, I noticed it seemed like a couple of them would follow it down. Like there'd be a small group of them sitting on some of these trees, and the same like 10 trees or so, and they'd kind of follow it down, and I'd see them kind of nose down on it, and then I'd hop it a couple times, and one would commit or none would commit, just kind of depended on the time or tree, and then catch a good fish. They were all very quality, so it was awesome.
Absolutely. I don't have your smallest here written down, but I want to say it was like 15 and a half or something like that was your smallest, if
Yeah,
I
it was
remember right.
either 15 and three quarter or 15 and a quarter. I can't remember.
Okay, yeah, but all pretty good quality fish there, and I like that you've got the baits there to show us. Came prepared. Um,
Yes.
you're talking about a scope and bite. Has that been, I know that you utilize it a little bit. Has that become a pretty big part of your game? I think most people know that you're a big jig guy, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people are, using them super close hand in hand. But has that become a big part of your game?
It just very much so depends on the bite. Like here coming soon at Table Rock, I probably won't even hardly touch scope because I know, I mean, there hopefully will be a good shad spawn going on, and you can just kind of, you don't need scope to be able to catch them good down there. So it'll be more cruising the bank, just not utilizing it. But I knew with my game plan going in, fishing the river, trying to hit some of those trees and stuff that I had seen other people hit, I just wanted to use scope to, one, find the trees that you can't see, and two, see if there's fish around them. So I utilized it more this tournament than I probably will and a few of the ones coming up. But later in the year, when we start getting some schooling shad, maybe out deeper channels, I'll use it again. So
Well, good deal there. Got a couple more for you. First off, what other events do you think you're going to do with Kayak Anglers of Missouri? I know that you want to make that Stockton Classic. So, what else do you think you'll hit?
looking at the schedule, most of the tournaments don't line up real well with me and my schedule. Just random things going on, weddings, events, other things I'm supposed to be involved in. Supposedly, I'm like one of the what is it, bachelors. So I gotta apparently attend a wedding or something silly. Groomsmen. So I think I'm planning to hit Table Rock. I can hit that one. And then the only other one that I could even possibly hit is Mark Twain, which I actually did pretty well up there for my first time there. But I don't know if I want to make the 5 and some change hours drive up there again. So
Well, good deal. Good deal. And then my last question for you is, are you going to make the drive up to Indian Creek here in a few weeks with Western Missouri Kayak Fishing League?
absolutely, I had a blast at that lake. I dropped like 94 and 3/4 inches and didn't even win it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jared beat me on that one. He had like 96 something. And I was just like, holy crap. For whatever reason, you can't catch anything over 19 apparently in that lake, but every fish in there is 19.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Zach. If you've got to run now, no worries there. But if you want to stick around, obviously we'll be talking to these guys a little bit. Um, Congrats on your win. That's a tough lake to do it on, and definitely a more impressive bag than I knew was possible on that lake. And with that, we'll roll on into second place. Lyle Dube ended up with 86 1/4 inches. Another bag that I honestly didn't know was possible on that lake. I'd only been there a couple times and never done well myself. Speaking of that, did you know that this lake was capable of these kind of results, Lyle? I know that you've had similar experience to me there, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever one of you guys asked me what I thought was gonna win it, and I figured, mid 80s because somebody always figures them out. So, and I know the fish are in there because I watched my brother uh lose a big one there, big one. But they're in there. They're just hard to find sometimes. So,
Why don't you tell us about your day real quick? How'd you catch them?
I caught him on a jig and a bladed jig. I'm pretty sure that's all I got bites on all day. And I never fished the same stuff twice. I just kept grooving. Adrian picked me up at a different ramp, so I just got to kind of snake my way through them islands and whatnot down there and just keep finding new stuff. So it was pretty cool. Caught a big one in the morning on a jig, a little 1/2 ounce football jig right when I passed Chad. About 10 seconds later. So I love when that happens. That was nice.
Yeah, I was excited for you.
I appreciate it. Yep. And so I just kept moving, just dragging that jig off of them bluffs and basically wherever I could, a little bit more of like 45-degree banks and stuff too. But the bites were very, very like sparse. I think I maybe had like 7 bites all day. Fish clean. I think there's maybe one I didn't put in. I can't remember if I had +1 or not, but yeah. And then down around the islands, I was just cruising. It was when it was more 45, I would just throw the bladed jig parallel a little bit. Did that for hours and had I think I might have caught either 2 or 3 of my fish on there. It's been a while now, but yeah, both just 1/2 ounce bladed jig, football jig.
Similarly to what I asked Zach, was there any kind of a flurry, or was it just like slowly picking up one fish an hour, or how was that?
Yeah, there's little flurries. Like I think I had 2 bladed jig fish. I can't remember if one was 18 and one was 17, or they were both 17 somethings, and it was on the same stretch, like probably within like 40 yards. So that was 2 fish. I had like little 2 fish flurries here and there, I think. Nothing crazy though, but they came very sparsely when they did happen.
But were you fishing some history or going off of something that your map studied here, or how was that?
Yeah, the little bit of history that I did have, basically, we've been down there. I think this was the 3rd time, and it's been really tough every time. This is definitely the best experience I've had there by a long shot. By a long shot. So yeah, I did fish areas that I'd fished in the past, though. The lake was really nice compared to what it's been.
Yeah. Was there any like midday adjustments that you made that you think made a large difference, or did you kind of start off doing one thing and stuck with it all day?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I had that 19.5, I just wanted to keep dragging the jig. So when I felt like the jig was, I kind of do that kind of stuff like just what's in front of me. If it looks bladed jiggy or if it looks jiggy, I just kind of went back and forth between them. So.
Well, good deal there.
Yeah.
I had another question, but you already answered it.
What was that?
Well, it was I was going to ask you the main thing that led to your success this time, and it sounded like history that was based on prior map study. So just because I know how you guys fish,
Yeah, you can say that for sure.
were you think you? I mean, you said that you ran into Chad. Do you think you were in a pretty good area for everybody, or was this something that was exclusive to you there?
Yeah, I definitely think that area is pretty cool. It's got some nice fish in there, and the way it lays out is really nice. You got a good mix of stuff, and it's close to the river arm. If you're not fishing like the river arms somewhere near them, you're kind of in super shallow water, which I'm cool with, but not when it's all just shallow water. Like I like that variety. It's a good area.
Did the weather kind of play a role in your day like it did for Zach? Did it affect how much fishing time you got or anything?
It actually did because I used that first. You guys know when that wind just picked up and was pushing shoot, what was it, like south? I just used that to get me down to the island. So I was probably going to take more time making my way there slowly. But during that, I just said, screw it, just push me. And I just flew down there. And so I skipped. I think I probably did cut out quite a bit of water. Who knows? Maybe I would have caught better fish, but I don't think so.
Huh. Yeah. So it ended up being a good thing for you, the weather that rolled in.
Yeah, I mean, it sucked, though. But, I hate getting wet.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything for him?
So you were roughly mid-lake, is that?
Well, I basically finished at the dam. So
okay.
So it was all lower stuff, no river stuff, but following where the river touches. I like where the river touches the bank. So just a lot of that stuff in that main lake area. And like I said, I got to start at one spot and work I think I did the math. It was like 5 miles just cruising.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that's how you like to fish, Lyle, and congrats on a great finish. And if my mental math is correct, you should be leading the Angler of the Year race at this point with a first and a second now. So good work there, and hopefully somebody can dethrone you at Mazingo.
No, I hope not. 2 of these guys are right behind me. I'm pretty sure we might have 1, 2, and 3 right here.
I think you got 1, 2, 3, and 4 the way my math does it. But
I must be missing somebody. I don't know.
Hey, I want to say that Zach should be in second or third, and Adrian is the other second or third, and I think Chad is in fourth. I might have somebody flip flop there though, the way I did the math, but
yep,
I don't know.
I was thinking, yep.
My partner drags me down.
Results yet. Your partner?
Yeah, she drags me down. That's okay. She's in the other room. She can't hear.
Oh, you're gonna be in trouble for that one.
Yeah, I wish I could fish the rest of the events because honestly, as far as Angler of the Year points go, I'm doing pretty well. 4th and a 1st.
Yep, you're right up there.
Transfer those to Moyak.
Do you think in the future, Zach, you might be able to make a run at that before we move on here?
I don't know. I fished a couple KAMO events before. I've done decent. It kind of depends on the lakes you fish. Like I feel like I'm pretty decent on Truman. Typically, not this last time. I think I've taken like a 3rd or 4th with KAMO and Truman and a 3rd on Stockton. So maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I know that the schedule doesn't seem to line up super great for you, but I didn't know if you had time in the schedule for 16 events or anything like that, if they did line up. So, but
I think my wife would kill me if I tried to fish KAMO, Moyak, and Western Missouri.
I hear you there. We'll go ahead and move into third place. Mr. Chad Davison doesn't really need an introduction. I think he's had more podcast experience than any of us, and definitely more winning experience than any of us. He came in third place with 85 inches. And from what I saw, I think you had the most recorded culls on Tourney X throughout the day. You had 5 culls recorded. Were you on fish all day? Just like I asked the other 2, were you on them all day?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, it started off kind of slow for me. That bank where I saw Lyle actually was like my planned starting spot. But the way that they made the decision to start the tournament like late and make the lines in and launch time at the same time, that kind of changed my game plan because I was planning on it was about 15 20 minutes to get to that spot where I was planning on starting, where I saw Lyle, and I decided to just hit a few things in between since fishing time started right away. So so it made me a little bit late getting there, but it was like the bite was kind of slow for me to start, and then I finally got out to that bank. I think I did lose one like right by where I launched on a spinnerbait, and I had it like halfway the boat and it came off. But anyway, I got out there where I saw Lyle, and it was like the bite was, for me, I was fishing moving baits, and I I went down that whole bank and I only had like one bite, I think, and I didn't hook it. So I had several bites there the day before. So and then right about the time I saw Lyle, probably like within 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, that wind, it went from like being super calm and just kind of like rainy to like within a period of a minute or two, I was like, it like a 30-mile-an-hour wind blew up out of the north and it got dicey because we were right on the main lake and it was wide open to like the whole south end of the lake. So, I mean, it was just like you couldn't even fish. It was dangerous. So that area that I planned on hitting better kind of like became unfishable. But right before that wind started, I caught two on a spinnerbait. One of them was like 15 and a half. And so, I had three. I think I only had two at that point. But I had to go back around, kind of back into a creek and tuck back out of the wind to be able to fish once that massive wind fired up. So I got back in there and I had caught some fish in there in practice too. So um, I was like in practice, I kind of figured out for me, I wasn't catching anything on flatter banks, everything. But as soon as I would like start in the back and the flatter stuff and work my way out to where it transitioned to the channel. And as soon as I started to get to like the kind of the chunk rock banks, I started getting bites. And that was very consistent. The only difference was in practice, it was like calm and sunny and I was getting bites, but they were mostly small fish. Like I think I never caught anything over like 15 inches in practice. But then on tournament day, I think with the conditions, the rain and the clouds and wind and all that stuff, um, it seemed like the bites I was getting were bigger. I still wasn't getting like more bites, but when I caught one, it was usually bigger. So I caught my fish besides that spinner bait, which I caught several on the spinner bait. Lost a really good one on it. But I also was catching them on a DT6. And my biggest two fish, a 19 and a half and I think it was like 18 and three quarters or something like that. They were both on the DT6, kind of like on like those chunk rock banks. One of them was like a secondary point. And it was crazy. The 19 and a half ended up just being a kind of a fluke because I was paralleling the bank, cranked it down. It got hung up on the bottom and I was like shaking my rod, trying to get it unhung. And I started to motor up towards it and I got like right on top of it and I'm pulling and all of a sudden it like started to come up, but it was just like dead weight. So I thought I had a rock or like a limb or something on there and I'm just cranking it up to the top so I can try and get it off. And as soon as it got to the top, it was at 19 and a half. And it was like, it was weird. It didn't fight. But as soon as I got it to the surface, then it like took off. It started running and I had to like fight it around the boat and finally got it in. But it was just a weird deal. I think it must have popped off the bottom and it probably ate it and I didn't realize it. But anyway, I also caught fish on a shaky head. That's what my last 18 came on towards the end of the day, almost like probably within 10 feet of where I had that 19 and a half. Was throwing a shaky head and I think there was a lot of fish there and it's kind of a migration route, I think, from like, cause I was back in a creek and it's kind of like, I think a bank that they're going to use coming in and out of the creek. And I feel like, those fish were kind of probably in all phases, but mostly probably like post spawn. I'm kind of guessing, but um, anyway, that's kind of how it went for me. I think I had a number of fish on the shaky head. That's probably where those culls came in because I was catching a lot of like 13, 14s on the shaky head, but I culled all but one of those out.
That's something that I noticed whenever I was looking at it is you had really great quality, the quality to go and win the thing, and just got stuck with a small fish of 13.75. But other than that, I think everything was 16 and above. I might be wrong on that. You might have had a high 15 there,
Yeah, I
but
had like I think it maybe a 15 and a half or something, but I definitely had that bite on the spinner bait that probably would have put me much higher. held out that 13. I probably would have gained at least 6 inches, I think. But you know, that's how it goes. I mean, you can't complain too much. If I don't, that's the only one that mattered that I lost. So and that I kind of look at that fish, the 19 and a half on the crankbait that I didn't even know I had it hooked. That was kind of like luck that I got it. So I guess if you have a little bit of bad luck losing one, it kind of balances out. So
Definitely got that one back for you. Kind of like hitting a deer and winning the next tournament you fish. How much experience do you have on Wappapello? Because it's not a real super popular lake. It doesn't seem like, at least not with people that don't live there. So how much have you fished it?
well, it seems to be popular with KAMO because I think they go there every year. But
True.
I I fished one Moyak event there, and then there was that. Well, and I think if I remember right, it was just a regular Moyak event, and then they had maybe one that was in conjunction with the Kayak Adventure Series. But I fished 2 tournaments there. Um, you know, they all fish so many tournaments, they all kind of start to run together. But I remember, you know, it's been kind of different time of the year when I've been here before. It was more later in the summer, and found a couple sneaky areas that seem to kind of hold some bigger fish. I've had good luck, like the kayak adventure series. I think I had the big bass of the event, and then I've caught a number of 20s. And I mean, I've heard stories about this lake. I know that it has produced multiple bags in tournaments that are just shy of 30 pounds for 5 fish. So I feel like probably Wappapello is one of the most underrated lakes in the state as far as catching a giant stringer. It's also like it's very capable of skunking you too. I mean, it's kind of one of those, if you're on them, you're on them, but it can be super tough to even get a limit. So and I know when it gets flooded up too, it can get super difficult. But you know, it's kind of like a river. You know, it's. I mean, I guess it is, but it's more like a river than a lot of the lakes we fish that are like a dammed up river. You know, it's got a lot of those backwaters that, like Zach was saying. I think it was Zach, that just those big flats and um, you know, like there's a lot of dead water too. You just kind of got to figure out where they're at.
It's like a miniature Dardanelle if you've ever been there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't, and I guess it's just because it's kind of unique for Missouri. I think that
Yeah.
it's probably not. There's probably a lot of other lakes like it out there. It was just I haven't fished a lot of them. I've never really been a big, like much of a river guy. I fished bass boat tournaments for years, but almost all of them were in Missouri on like the regular Ozark lakes. So that's kind of what I know the best.
No bass boat events on that lake before?
No, and honestly, I don't think I'd really feel comfortable taking a boat on that lake. I mean, you can get yourself into trouble really quick if you don't know where you're going, and it's tricky. Um, you know, some of the hazards out there. I mean, the locals know it real well, but I it would make me really nervous in a bass boat.
With
Me too.
Yeah, it's any of those river systems get scary. I know guys even running up the James on Table Rock get nervous sometimes. You get farther up that and it can get sketchy.
Yeah,
Um,
I did $10,000 worth of fiberglass damage to my Ranger. I had a 21-foot Ranger. I was running at Truman Lake, up the Tebow, quite a ways, close to like Windsor, and you kind of got to zigzag back and forth and follow the channel. And I took one bend a little bit too sharp, and there was a tree about 16, 18 inches in diameter, like a foot underneath the water, and I hit it going about 50 miles an hour, and it spider cracked the gel coat all the way down one side of my Ranger. And I've bent multiple prop shafts. And Truman's tricky in a bass boat. I love it in a kayak. It used to drive me crazy in a bass boat. So it's one of the things I love about kayak fishing is I go to any lake pretty much, and I don't worry about hazards, you know, because I mean, in the kayak, you know, you're not going to have to worry about it usually.
Absolutely. That's my biggest reason for getting into the kayak thing out of bass boats and into kayaks was that, and just the simplicity of it, not having to worry about destroying boat that's more expensive than my vehicle. So
Yeah. That was kind of like the straw that broke the camel back for me. I was not too long after that I sold it after I got it fixed, and sold it and bought a kayak and started fishing kayak tournaments.
same thing as I asked Lyle there. Did you kind of fish history there, or were you fishing some new stuff? Did we lose you, Chad?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Lyle.
Oh no, the same deal I asked Lyle. Yeah.
Gotcha. Um, so this was a whole new area for me. When I fished there before, it was up the river, and every time I've been there, I fished different areas. But this area, it was kind of like the same lower lake area where Lyle was. I just kind of landed on it because the ramp was right at the campground. So it was super convenient, and I checked it in practice and caught fish there. So kind of just lucked out. Sometimes start close, see how that works out.
Well, good deal. That was going to be my next question, is how did you decide to launch there? But I guess it's
Yeah.
because it was close.
Yeah, it was just like 3 minutes from where I was camping. So
Well, good deal there. Same thing I asked Zach. What else are you fishing for KAMO? Are you fishing the whole trail? I think you told me, Chad.
I'm sorry, it cut out there for a second.
Oh, you're good. Are you planning on fishing the whole KAMO trail this year?
Yeah, so I always kind of start off like probably trying to fish everything. Sometimes I try to fish too much, and then see where what I'm doing good in, and if I'm like got some momentum in a particular series or something, then I'll kind of like put more emphasis on that. Like for this year, like the online series, I started off fishing that, but I just haven't had any time doing the online, so I kind of dropped out of those. I've been fishing so many live tournaments, but right now I'm planning on fishing all of them. Yeah, it's a little bit tough because like Mozingo, Wappapello, Bull Shoals, they're all like in different corners of the state, and they're all pretty long drive for me. So it's been kind of a challenge, but they're all pretty neat lakes, and I'm looking forward, especially for Mozingo, because I've never been there. So yeah, I'm definitely right now. I'm planning on fishing as many of the rest of them as I can, probably most of them.
Well, good deal. You're certainly in a good position so far in the AOY race with this third place, and I forget what you did at the last one. Was it sixth or
I
seventh or
think I
something like
was
that?
like, I think I was in ninth. I thought at Bull
Oh,
Shoals.
really?
But yeah, either sixth or ninth. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean it's not bad. Lyle's on such like a hot streak right now. Um, I think he's going to be tough if he keeps fishing the way he has been. But um, we'll see how it goes. It's a long season, and you never know what'll happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, congrats on your third place finish there, Chad, and thanks for joining us here. And gonna move on to Mr. Adrian Dube, fourth place with 78 and 3/4 inches. Tell us about your day, Adrian.
Well, I started off with some history, a place I've caught one fish on. That's my history for WAP. Actually, landing fish, I've lost a couple good ones, but as for landing them, I've caught one fish in this particular cove. And I got started off pretty quick. I had a limit, I think, in the first maybe hour, all on the same stretch of bank, maybe the same 70-yard stretch. And then, like how you guys talked about the wind and the rain picked up really heavy. When that happened, I just got on them really good. I caught, I think, 4 fish and 10 casts, just cranking the same point. They were all small, but I was pretty happy just to have a limit. That was kind of my goal coming in, just to get a limit. I had nothing in practice. I didn't get a single bite in practice. And me and Lyle kind of covered the lake from top to bottom, not spending too much time in any particular area, but just trying to see if we can find something. And we didn't, but sometimes, you know, you don't catch them in practice. You figure it out on the day it matters. That's always a good thing. But I had a small limit, and I kind of felt like I had fished the area to its max potential as far as size, and quite possibly even, I don't want to say it like this, but I might have caught every fish that was on that stretch of bank, because I made maybe 3 or 4 passes through it again, switched up some baits, and I just couldn't get bit again. So I headed back to the ramp, and I relaunched, and I seen Mr. Chad. He was throwing his spinner bait. I won't say the color, but I seen what color he was throwing. And
It's no
then
secret. I think it was like white and chartreuse.
that it was. And then I went around a little bend after I launched, and I seen another guy. He was ahead of me at this time, and he was throwing a white chatterbait. So I was like, okay, I feel like I come in here and do something different, I might be able to pick up some bites that they may have left behind. So I started cranking with this weird colored crankbait that I like to throw, and I caught a 14, and then I caught a 17, and then I caught a 20. I think they were all on the same stretch as well. They weren't too far spread out. And that's pretty much how my day went. The 20, it was pretty cool. I caught it cranking this little log. And when I seen the flash come up, man, my heart just started pounding. It was pretty crazy. It was a hell of a fish. I didn't get to film anything either, because when I launched, my GoPro, for whatever reason, wasn't working. And I just kind of just forgot it when I relaunched. I said, this isn't going to define me. I'm a tournament angler, not a content creator. So if I don't put out a video, it don't really matter to me. That's kind of how my day went. Just all cranking in the wind, how I like to do. I love tournaments when the wind's 30 miles an hour and rainy. That's kind of when I thrive. So
That's awesome there. Whenever you said you went and relaunched, you started on history and went and relaunched, was that a completely new area for you?
not a completely new area, but I mean, I fished it in practice. I fished it the year prior. I never caught anything out of there. I did know that there was fish in there, because I think it might have been my first or second time there. My buddy Blake Wheelant, you guys all know him. He had won out of that particular area, not with like any kind of special bag, but he had won in that area. So I knew there was fish there. But I had no real expectations, and I mean, I never have expectations on that lake, because it whoops me every time except for this time. So yeah, it wasn't a new area, but I'd never caught fish there.
Well, that how did the weather play? You said the wind really played a factor to your like crankbait bite, but it sounded like the wind kind of died down later in the day. Is that the case? And if so, did you have to adjust after that?
I did kind of adjust the style of cranking. When the wind got crazy, it was burning it really fast, and just making a bunch of casts. And then when it died down, it was more so just slow cranking, and making sure you were efficient with what you were hitting on that particular cast, making sure that it was like a long cast and you were covering a lot of water on that particular cast with a slow crank. But when that wind and rain picked up, I mean, I don't know if I could have done anything wrong. You just tossing it in there on that particular point, and all the 10 and 12 inchers wanted to bite it. So I was thankful for those little guys.
How many fish do you think you caught that day?
Tourney X says that I submitted 9. I know in that one particular cove that I started off in, I threw back maybe 3 or 4 what we call KAMO keepers, those 8 inchers, because they just weren't going to help me. But I mean, I caught plenty of fish. It was very surprising. Very surprising.
Well, that's awesome. Congrats on your fourth place finish, buddy. And
Yeah.
and as we were talking about before, you are up there in the race for Angler of the Year. It's pretty exciting to see how that's developing this year. Got a lot of skill at the top there right now.
Really good for somebody in the intermediate division.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to fish this year out in the intermediate division, because I still ain't proved that I'm consistent enough to be an advanced angler like yourself, even though people like to think I am. I don't feel like I'm quite there yet. I'm getting there, but I don't think I'm there yet.
We're just giving you a hard time.
Oh, I know you are. It's all in good fun.
That's Steve's specialty, Lehman.
Definitely. Moving on to the big bass, and you're gonna have to correct me on your name, I believe, but Brian Mandziara, is that correct?
Manziera.
Manziera, Brian Manziera with a 20.5 incher. It's the only fish you submitted, good enough for 25th place. So, I mean, not terrible finish, and a big bass prize gets you 10 extra AOI points. And yeah, so tell us about that fish.
Yes, the whole before we went down there, Steve Lehman called me. He said, "Hey, here's where we're staying. You guys stay here with us." He wanted to test out some um, bourbons, I guess, at night, and so I said, "Okay." And so we get there, and he calls. He goes, "Oh, you know what? I told you the wrong spot." Well, we're stuck now, so we're staying there. It was, Holiday Landing, which is pretty far north. And so practice days, you can either go left or right. And we went one day left and one day right. And then the tournament day, we ended up going right. And like you guys were saying, that wind hit. And when you're in that river arm, there's nowhere to go. I mean, it's whistling down that river. And I'm sideways, and I look up at my wife sideways, who's 100 pounds soaking wet. And when that hit, I almost went over because I was broadside. And I looked up, and she was half over. So that really slowed the day down. And we had to find a place, there was a little cove, real shallow, but we got out of it for 15 minutes. So I kid about my partner, but I really do end up spending a lot of time making sure she's, safe and stuff. So, so we got back out there, and that wind was just made it so it had to be moving bait. I mean, there was just chucking and winding. There was we couldn't do anything slow. So, we were just chucking. I had a big thumping spinner bait and bouncing it off the bottom. And I thought I caught, which is in the river a lot of, a lot of logs and stuff. And we had come up, and she was down a ways and saw it. And she started coming down there, and then she stopped. And she told me later, she goes, "In case you lost it, I just didn't want to see you cry." And so I said, "Hey, thanks." So, being married only a year, she's, she hasn't seen too much of that. So, but yeah, it was, I've fished there probably anywhere from the river arm to the middle to the, down at the, by the dam. I have relatives that live full-time, well, not full-time, but they have a full-time spot at the camp. And my wife and I have a 38-foot fifth wheel so that we keep the kayaks in the back of, pull up in. And so wherever there's a campground is usually where we stay at all the tournaments. So we're, we really enjoy it. And I think the only one we're going to miss this year, I think, is Table Rock, because we're going to be at Grove, Oklahoma for the professional is going to be there. I think the same weekend or the weekend after. So we're going to be there, and that's the first time we've ever been to a professional event. And so we're pretty excited about going, and we're staying right by the put in, and we're taking our kayaks with us. So pretty excited about that trip. But yeah, outside of, being really scared when that wind hit and catching that fish, it was interesting. I still give Steve trouble for, how did you get the directions wrong? And I think it's because Jesse makes all his directions or all his reservations for him. So
that's a pretty good possibility. Am I getting it right that you're like in the middle of the river channel? You weren't off in one of the bayous whenever you caught that fish? You were just out in the main river?
Right in the main river. Yep. And you couldn't get away from the wind. Like I said, it was just running north. And I mean, we just couldn't get away from, we were just getting creamed by it. And I don't mind as much, but I worry about her, which bothers me, So funny thing, make sure she's not here. At Bull Shoals, she didn't come, and I did the best I've done in a while. So,
Speaking of that, while I was looking at your Tourney X profile, this is the largest fish that you've submitted in a tournament, at least on Tourney X. Is this a personal best for you, or just the biggest that you've come across on a tournament day?
You know, I'm old, so I can't remember exactly, but it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close. A couple at Ozarks back in the day that were right around there. We used to go down there a lot when my dad was alive and my mom, and so, but pretty close though. Yeah, it was a blast. We really enjoyed it. Had fun. Ready for Mazingo.
That's awesome. That's congrats on that,
Yeah.
on that great big fish.
Got a few ready.
There you go.
Morning
Is
dawn.
that what you caught him on, that guy
No,
there?
it was a trickster spinner bait. Those big, Indiana thumping blades. Those trickster, which they've changed. They're not the same anymore since the new company bought them out. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it used to be the best spinner bait out there. Chad, I don't know if you remember back in when
I actually had one of those at that event with me. I still have some of the originals.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about when they kind of remade them. They're not quite the same, but the frame is not quite the same or something. But
it's just, I bought a brand new one and I can't get it to turn over. So they did something. So, or maybe it's me. I don't know. So yeah, looking forward to Mazingo.
Good. That one's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I got one more for you. You said you got to practice a couple days, right? Did you have any clue that you were on that kind of quality throughout your couple of days of practice?
I think I caught a 18 or 19 the first day, and so I know there's some big ones in that part of the river back in the day. I've caught some nice ones 5-6 years ago, I want to say. So yeah, there's definitely some there. I just it just has to be. The problem is in the river, it's got to be just the right conditions and stuff. So, but you never know, Pretty excited.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, congrats on big bass of the tournament. Congrats on possible personal best, maybe, and congrats on a recent marriage as well. So that's awesome.
And got a wife and a fishing partner out of it. How about that?
Not much better than that.
Yeah, she's great.
Good, good. Anybody else got any questions for anybody here?
Yeah, I know it. I know at the award ceremony, as soon as we got done at Wappapello, I think I was the first one. I think Chad was right after me to go over and talk to Zach and just see, because I was very curious, how he did it, what he did, and all that. So I just really enjoy, learning, how they did and what they did and just always learning. So I just thought it was really cool. He was just like, it was just happened upon some trees and they just.
he has a unnatural ability somehow to just show up without pre-fishing and land on like key areas that I have no idea how he figures that out without even pre-fishing. And he hasn't, I mean, he's young. He doesn't have that
Yep.
much history. He can't, he's not that old. I mean, how do you, because I know some of the areas that he fishes and it's like, how did, it took me like half my life to find that area and he just lands on them. But he's really good with those electronics too.
Fortunately, he's the best man in a lot of weddings, so he might have a better chance this week, the next few months.
Yep.
So
Good deal. There's if anybody has anything else, if not, we're gonna wrap it up here. And
I'm open to tips for Mozingo because I've never been there. So,
fish it like KAMO.
Fish the grass.
oh, I might be in trouble then. 'Cause I didn't do very good at Taneycomo the last time.
Dane, do you live in Maryville? Is that?
I did up until a week ago. I just moved south of there.
Okay.
I'm about 45 minutes south of Mazingo now.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I was just in where you're born, I guess. I was just there yesterday. Um, the
Where I was
town,
born.
weren't you? Are you from, or not born, but aren't you from by? I guess it'd be west of Troy.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I'm from Montgomery County area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Awesome.
Not a whole lot of super great fishing there, but there's some.
Yeah, St. Louis doesn't have a lot either, so I'm not, I'm relegated to the local golf course and all that on days off. So
Well, good deal. With that, I think I'll see most of you guys at Table Rock. I think I'll see all of you guys at Mazingo. And good luck to all you guys. Congratulations on your great finish, all of you. And hopefully we get to have you guys on again. It was a great time. But to everybody at home, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.